I wanted to get into the downfall of Panda, as it were. From your end of things, from the inside, like what happened?
So TELR, for what I know and what I've seen now that everything is coming to fruition, that Alan said before it happened was that this was a foul play to a certain degree. To a certain degree, it was a foul play, but at the same time, Alan should have been way more responsible of trusting people that may not have his best interest, even though in his eye and his world that it was the best interest for everybody. Like, and that's again about articulating yourself. This is why it's very important. Is because you might say something, and then like you might say something a certain way, and multiple people might take that like differently. And I think that was the case.
Mhm.
And I think instead of them kind of like confronting him about it and things like that, they made it amongst themselves to create like a little, society and kind of like talk about these things. And, that was his biggest downfall. It's like, you can't really trust people
Mhm.
uh, unless you word yourself in a way where they can't really say these things, but because you did so, because you're trying to be like the cool guy, and honestly, Alan was really trying to make everybody eat. Like that's
Mhm.
exactly what was his plan. He wanted to. He knew that he was like, I have the formula, and I'm going to push to get the formula so all these players can eat. That was his whole philosophy,
Mhm.
and I just think that what happened was, these guys didn't want to lose where they were, and they basically was like, "Yo, this is what happened." And Alan was saying all these things, and it's very easy in the Smash community to convince people because everybody already hates Nintendo. So why not use Nintendo as like a scapegoat? And like
Mhm.
what people are gonna say? Nah, this is not Nintendo. Everybody's gonna be like, oh yeah, that's right. They did this with Project M. F this company.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It's very easy to do that, and I think that they were very smart with the play that they did. However, it was Panda's downfall, and I think Allen should have stepped down immediately. And I think what happened was he was trying not to step down, and that was not the case.
Mhm.
That's why it took a long time for him to step down. It's because he didn't want to, because he wanted to. He felt like he was innocent, and to a degree he was. But again, what he did wasn't anything malicious. If you
Mhm.
look at it from the grand scheme of things, every business is always trying to find a way to expand. So why is it all of a sudden like a guilty thing to like expand? So what? What we're gonna do? We're gonna cry and never order anything from Amazon. So you don't want to save $20 at Amazon because of this particular thing. Like you're not gonna go to like Save-Ons because of this. You know what I mean? Like all
Yeah.
these like these companies are always gonna find ways to expand. And like obviously, like it sucks, right? It sucks that it has to work that way,
Mhm.
and I just think that's kind of what happened. And here we are. It's really, really unfortunate that that team went down because now what? We don't have anything. So he mentioned that I don't think this company is going to last long because they don't have a Dota license. What's the guys that just shut down recently?
Uh,
Uh,
Beyond the Summit.
Beyond the Summit. And
Mhm.
look what happened. They made that announcement,
Yeah.
and the Smash World Tour, like, their statement was very weird too. So, like, a lot of people just, like, all the stuff was he say, she say, but for
Mhm.
some weird reason, because Panda was with Nintendo, they felt like everybody had to just, like, out at them like that.
Mhm.
And I felt like that was very unfair in a lot of ways. A lot of people lost their jobs, full time jobs.
Mhm.
We had a lot of great things. We was doing a lot of great things for people.
Yeah.
And like the fact that people at that point was just looking to just cause fire hazard. Nobody really thought about the jobs that were lost and people going to depression and like, you know, doing things like that. And thankfully I had a hard life. So, dealing with this, it was really hard. I had a lot of resentment
Mhm.
for a long time. But I got out of it, and like I'm just like cool, like just back to square one, and we just gotta do this again, so
Yeah. No, and
good job.
I think something that even I got caught up in is like once I read all of it, it was like knee jerk reaction city, right? So like ever since then, like we've at the show we've been running through we've been running with a model called let them cook, where like we see something happen, we gotta let it cook, wait, and then make a decision once we're not like knee jerk reacting to something. So it is very unfortunate, and I think that's like one of the few things, like one of the first things that popped into my head was like, because I know uh, a lot of people do a lot of thankless jobs behind the scenes, and a big organization like Panda shutting down definitely was probably going well, was
It
going to
didn't
affect a
help
lot of
that
people.
the fighting game scene started also cherry picking with the Smash community, saying
Hmm.
F Panda and all this other stuff. So like it just really felt like all the people that didn't like us during the pandemic, there was like a perfect opportunity to kind of like
Hmm.
attack them,
Yeah.
and it didn't help. Everybody who wanted to defend us didn't want to defend us publicly,
Hmm.
because we were getting docs. People were sending me hate mail,
Yeah.
racist mail, all the stuff. All the. I mean, bro, I don't care about that. But
Hmm.
they think I'm going to get hit by it, but it doesn't affect me. But it can affect others. You know what I mean? And like, I'm not my how I feel is not the same how everybody else deals with things.
Hmm.
But it's just crazy how like all that stuff just happened, and like nobody didn't have our back, and then like when everything just kind of like faded away, everything went back to normal. You know what I mean? For some weird reason, everybody started liking me that I wasn't with Panda anymore. I was just like, it's crazy. I'm doing the same thing.
Hmm.
So it's
Yeah.
just it's
Uh,
it's
do you think it goes
people
back to what you were saying before about people being very jealous and envious?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We were doing a lot of stuff that people wish they could do,
Hmm.
and that's how it is. Like that's just the current life of things. Personally, for me, if I see somebody doing some crazy thing, I'm hyped.
Hmm.
But that's not I'm not everybody. So
Yeah.
for some people, they take it more personal that people are just doing a job. For some weird reason, doing anything within the scene as a job is like looked down upon it within the scene, which is crazy to me.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, and
So
it feels like the situation with Arturo and Maturino was very similar, right? Where
yeah. I
you know,
mean, personally, I thought I was like, bro, Art, what is this? But if Art knew that he wasn't like a really strong like voice in terms of talking, I just felt like he should have got somebody a PR
mhm,
immediately.
yeah,
Him like stalling and doing all this stuff, I think just made things worse.
yeah,
But then like again, like with the Maturino thing, like it's crazy to me that Maturino kind of like got away with it because
yeah,
we're still using it.
hmm,
So like you know what I'm saying? So it's like people are very selective in terms of like what is like okay and what's not okay. And I guess expanding as a company is not okay. But as long as people are getting money by like entering a weekly every week, that's totally okay. But what they did in terms of practice is we just gonna let that rock. You know what I mean? So it
yeah,
blows my mind how things work. You
yeah,
know?
yeah. No, and like it's a very similar situation to the Panda stuff. I feel like there were a lot of other TOs and broadcasters who kind of took the chance to like put art down even further, right? Which I found very interesting.
Mm.
It's very weird. The internet's a very weird place because I feel like
Yeah,
if it was like a less or a more personal thing outside of Twitter, I feel like all of these situations would be very different.
Yeah, I always look at it that if it's people living a good life, people want to tear it down.
Hmm.
But if it's like something that people can benefit off of, nobody wants to mess with that.
Hmm.
Hence, you know how we talk about how Amazon is a trash company, but here
Yeah.
we are on Twitch. You get
Yep.
what I'm saying? So people are because why? Because we can make money off.
Hmm.
So we're not going to talk bad of when we make money off of, but that person that's making all that money we ain't getting, oh, we're gonna tear that shit down.
Yeah.
That's just how the life. That's how the world works, and you just got to be very smart. You got to be very smart, and Allen was not smart.
Hmm.
As much as he's not wrong, but he wasn't smart, and I have to own up to him not being a great leader. You have to be a great leader, and sometimes trying to be the good guy, you have to be very wise of how good you be in
Hmm.
terms of your direction, because people don't see it that way.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of being a good guy, out of the ashes of this Panda situation, you brought back that Panda channel under a new name. And I think I saw that you also brought back like a lot of the people who were working on that channel as well. to keep it up. Like, what's that been like? Bringing like spearheading a channel resurrection, kind of like that.
It's hard, man. Running two channels, streaming on Twitch, trying to be a pro player, and also trying to like balance my personal life.
Hmm.
It's a mission. It's very expensive. I'll tell you that. If you want to ask, it's very expensive. But I did it because I was just like, again, the philosophy that Panda had. It wasn't a bad thing. So my goal was to make it up, and so people don't get mad about it. I'm like, well, you guys can come in too. So
Hmm.
the door is open for you guys, and like they can't hate on themselves. So I'm like, everybody's gonna have fun and just do some cool stuff. That was the biggest goal, was to find like have a hub so people could just go and just have fun and just see some cool stuff, hear people's takes,
Hmm.
thoughts, and it's just not like Panda members. It's like it's community members now. So anybody who want to be on it, if I reach out to them, they say okay, they earn it.
Hmm.
It doesn't matter how big or small the creator you are, as long as you're just down to be cool and just do some fun stuff and like have it, be entertaining, or just kind of like throw some jabs here and there. Just you're in. Simple as that.
Yeah. And in your opinion, how's that gone so far? Are you happy with how things are?
Yeah, I actually was kind of concerned because, again, you can't say the P word on the internet anymore, So I was afraid that people was going to be like, "Oh, this is the P words channel," but everybody was like, "Yo, positive about it." People were very happy about it, and I was so overwhelmed.
Hmm.
I think that day made me so happy, and I don't think a lot of people knew that. But I was so happy that day. I was like, wow, everybody really cares about this. I really just want to work hard and just like give give some cool stuff. And I have a lot of ideas that I want to do. So I just can't wait to showcase and show you guys. But yeah, it's been really great. I've been really happy that everybody's enjoying it. That's all I care about, is
Hmm.
people enjoying it and liking it, and like I'm just gonna do better every time. So that's pretty much how it is.
Yeah. And finally, what's next for not just that channel, but for you as well? Like, what's coming down the pipeline that you're excited about that you can talk about?
Obviously I'm gonna be competing in Street Fighter 6. My goal is to get into Capcom Cup.
Hmm.
So I'm going to be taking time and get there. As far as content, I'm going to be trying to run. I'm still going to be running two channels.
Hmm.
The goal is trying to get 100K for the channel by the end of the year. So I want to make sure I get that to 100K as well. So I'm going to be putting a lot of time and investment. As far as events go, I mean, I'm going to be going to CEO. So I'd be a CEO. Evo, because Evo's up the street.
Hmm.
And from there, I think we'll play by the ear. But that the next thing basically is succeeding to my goals that
Hmm.
I have this year. So that is the next thing. I have a couple of things that I want to do. So
Oh yeah. Also, congrats on the big silver play button as well. I saw that earlier
thank
this
you,
month or last month, I
thank you,
guess.
man. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Nah, dude. It's cool seeing people in the FGC thriving, man. Um,
Yeah, I want the scene to thrive a lot. Actually, I just think that it's going to take Street Fighter 6 to do it, and it kind
mhm.
of did. So now I just hope my hope is people use this as an opportunity to grow rather than an opportunity to tear.
Yeah.
And because that is a common thing that we always do, is we like to tear things what we have nice for us. So I'm hoping this year people see this as like, yo, let's just do something great, and
Mhm.
then like push from there.
Hell yeah.
Mm.
So I have a couple more straggler questions that I wasn't able to work into the interview, but a couple people on the Discord asked. Uh, First, it's Squidly who's in the chat here as well. He asked, "Do you still play Kai, or have you moved on to another character?"
For what game?
For
I'm
I'm
assuming
assuming
Strive.
Strive. Yeah.
I don't play Kai. No, I'm sorry. I don't play him just because that it's not fun having to kind of like play him in this current meta of the game. It's not like he's bad, but what he does is not good enough to convince the opponent to do things, right?
Mhm.
Like conditioning is very important. Like he don't have the tools to condition your opponent, and that's really bad in a game where you get hit one time and you die.
Mhm.
Yeah, so he's not fun.
Yeah. I love the fact that you called Soul Headband Kai. By the way, uh,
Yeah.
I thought that was very endearing. Who are you playing in Strive now? Are you gonna stick with Asuka or are you gonna?
Soul and Oscar is two
Hmm.
characters I'm going to be playing.
Oh,
Yeah.
sick.